Welcome all to this tutorial. Today we're going to talk about FTP server, setting it up, configuring it, and finally connecting to it and trying to actually download something from it. Anyway, first things first, we actually need to go ahead and download it. So we're going to download the VS-FTPD, yum install VS-FTPD. It's already installed here if I'm not mistaken, and there you go, it is right there, no big deal. I have it installed. If you don't, this is just going to be a bit of a longer process. That is all, no big deal there, but it's like 5 seconds more, so yeah, as I said, don't worry about it. Anyway, what we need to do now is, if we want it to work, we need to turn off SC Linux. Now, SC Linux is something that I shall explain in far greater detail, and we will deal with it soon enough. But for the time being, I would like you to shut it off, as it is a topic of its own, and I don't want to put it in the same tutorial as I put the FTP server in. So we will deal with that separately soon enough. For the time being, let's just go ahead and disable it. Type in vim space /etc sc linux config, press enter, and you see here I have disabled it. So you have enforcing, you have permissive, and you have disabled. Now we will deal with this soon enough, but for the time being I just want you to this to be written like so, like it is here. It says SC Linux equals disabled. I do believe that by default it shall be enforcing. Doesn't matter at all, just delete it and type in disabled. I'm gonna go ahead and press Q to quit, but you will need to type in WQ to write and quit. Anyway, now that that is done, we need to basically start the FTP server. And before we start it, let's just go ahead and configure it, because if we start it and then configure it, we would need to restart it in order for the new configuration to be applied. So we're not going to do that. We're just going to go ahead and enter the configuration file straight away before it is running, but it might be running in the background now. I'm too lazy to check it, but then again, it is of no consequence to us, because as soon as we start it or restart, the new configuration file will be loaded. So sc vsftpd vsftpd.conf, press enter. Okay, so we have some interesting things here. Let's just go to the top of the file and let's take a look at a few of these parameters that are fully configurable. So here it says anonymous underline enable equals yes. There is an explanation above each and every, pretty much, more or less, should I say, above each of these values, but sometimes they don't explain as much. It says allows anonymous FTP, and then there's a warning, beware, allowed by default if you comment this out. It doesn't really tell you what it actually is. Well, anonymous underline enable enables anonymous logins, enables anonymous users to access your FTP server, so they can download whatever they wish, whoever they are. There is no need to register, there is no need to create an account or anything of a kind, so anyone is able to download it. Anyway, we're gonna set that to yes, because that's what people need for the Red Hat Certified System Administrator exam. They need to be able to change this to yes to this configuration file and apply the changes. Doesn't necessarily need to be. There's no guarantee that this particular part will be in the exam, but just saying what people have experienced before. They needed to go. They had a configuration file, and then they needed to enable anonymous logins, which is pretty simple. You just type in, instead of no, you just type in yes, and the warning, it's very logical. So if this was yes, and if I placed a comment in front of it, by default it would still be yes. So I need to say no if I do not wish to allow such activity. Anyway, let's go down to this one. So this one sets the permissions for the users. As the description above it says, the default is 077, and it says that you can change this to 022, used by most other FTPDs. So I'm just gonna leave it. I'm perfectly content with that, as this file has a good degree of paranoia in it, so it is relatively safe. Anyway, if you don't know what this is, what these numbers represent, I suggest that you go back to some of the previous tutorials where I have talked about chown and permissions for files and stuff of a kind. And now we're going to go down and take a look at this variable. It says anon upload enable equals yes. This is a, well, let me put it like this. This is not the brightest of ideas at all. This is something you do not want to do at all. So it is commented out, and by default it is off. Create a direct, yes. So in addition to this, it says that you will need to create a directory writable by the FTP user, but really this part here completely relevant to us because we are not going to allow anonymous upload. That's definitely not a bright idea by any measures or by any standards. Okay, so let's go further down below. Messages given to remote. Okay, so when they go, messages given to remote users when they go into certain directory. Enable, sure, why not? We can. I guess we can leave it. Activate logging of uploads, downloads, definitely. Okay, so data port, not too important for us at the moment. Format, there we go. So this is the line that I wanted to address. This is the place where the logs will be stored by default. If you would like to change this, just remove the comment line and then type in the new path here, the one that is suitable for your needs. Honestly, var log seems like a perfect destination for logs. Okay, so going down below, is there anything else that I find suitable for this stage of learning? Okay, so there's this listen. When listen directive is enabled, runs in standalone mode and listens on IPv4 sockets and on IPv4 sockets alone. This directive cannot be used in conjunction with IPv6 directive. So down below you have IPv6, but you might say, oh, well, you know, we don't really use IPv6 and neither really do you, but you know what, it doesn't matter, because if you put yes for IPv6, it means that it will listen on both IPv4 and IPv6 sockets. That's why it's set on yes here, although not too many people will be able to take an advantage of that, as IPv6 is still very, 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 very far from being alive and I mean in use general. Although there are some ISPs that are using it for some of their services. And down below, I have added these 3 lines. You won't have them by default. I have added them as a part of troubleshooting because I've had a lot of problems with FTP, with the firewall. I don't know why. For a time it worked and then the trouble began. But oh well, no big deal. I managed to resolve the issue. And I will show you what these are in the follow-up tutorial and why have I added them there. And they're completely optional. If you encounter any problems, this will be a solution. If you don't, fine, who cares? Then you don't really need it. Another thing, now that you have configured this file, just go ahead. Oh, wait. As I say that, I remember I forgot a completely irrelevant detail, but a detail nevertheless. Okay, so you have a login banner. So what would you like your users to be, what would you like to say to your users when they log in? Everybody in their right mind will tell you not to have a banner, but as it can identify the service to an extent, but why not? I mean, this is a test environment. This is for learning purposes, and in this environment you are free to make whatever banner you would like, more or less. However, in a production environment, sometimes they're advised, sometimes they're not. Most of the time, they're not. Anyway, let's go ahead and type in a banner. Welcome, guest. Would you like to know where you are? If nah. Well, good luck. Good luck with that. And goodbye. And goodbye. Yes, there we go. So that will be our greetings banner for all who log in. So right quit, press enter. Here we go. Let's go ahead and clear the screen. System ctl start. What was the name? vs ftpd. Press enter, and there we go. Even though I get nothing as a result of this command, there's no output, meaning that all went smoothly. I like to check things myself and to be sure. Status, excellent, it is running indeed. Let's go ahead and clear the screen. So, one more thing that I will do here before we wrap this thing up. You will need to configure the firewall. Actually, we're going to do that in the follow-up tutorial because I wanted to configure a firewall in a bit of a different way this time. We're going to impose some permanent changes just to slowly introduce you to that section. Had a really fast change of mind here. Anyway, I bid you farewell, and we will continue in the follow-up tutorial with the server.